Okay, I'm just going to keep a close little eye here on the waiting room too, just so people can get in. Um, but yeah, tonight's call is just mostly on Instagram. So if you do have any specific questions related to Instagram, go ahead and pop them in the chat box. What we're not going to talk about though is how to connect, how to add followers, because there are so many calls that I do monthly on that. So this isn't a call about that. This is more so about like how to show up on Instagram, creating content, the different kinds of stories that you want to be putting out there day to day. So if you do have any questions about that, you can just put them in the chat box as we go through this. She's not on here, but in case she watches the recording, I wanted to shout out Hillary because she is officially an Emerald coach as of today. So that's super exciting. She is in the Big Potential Message pod that we have going on. And the interesting thing is, it was like literally a week ago, she made a comment that she just couldn't find anyone that was interested in either the business or just even signing up as a discount coach. She was like, I've asked, no one's interested. She just did not see herself getting to Emerald. And within like 4 days, she had signed up a coach because she just started asking. And then a couple days later, she signed up another coach. So today she is being shouted out as an Emerald coach. And that's all it takes. It just takes you wanting it and then going after. And every single person who has gotten to Emerald will say the exact thing, that it was just a decision they made and they made it happen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, not because I have super fancy slides, but because I made notes and I was like, well, I might as well just go off of these. And also, this will just, I set the tone for my team call so that when you start to run your own team call, this is what you have to compare it to. So you'll never feel like you are, not good enough on a team call, because my team calls are pretty laid back and I never have fancy slides by any means. So you can absolutely do this one day when you have your own big thriving team. I am going to share my screen. Okay, so here's just kind of what I threw together today. So Instagram, it's amazing. It's a big place. There's a lot of pressure though when it comes to Instagram, or at least I feel that way. But at the same time, I think that I put pressure on myself, and maybe you do too. So maybe you can just put in the chat box, like, how do you guys feel when it comes to Instagram? Do you feel that same kind of like anxiety feeling, like you've got to be creating like, just like Facebook, I'll put whatever up on Facebook, but then all of a sudden I go to Instagram and I'm like, why do I feel like it has to be so much more epic? And I feel like I have to be on that platform morning till night. And I just hate that feeling. I'm going to check the chat box. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. So I know that some people are new, and even watching the recording, if you're new, what I'm going to talk about tonight, definitely start applying it. But if you're new, all I want you to worry about and think about is just showing up consistently. You need to create those consistent habits of being online and sharing what we offer and sharing little bits of you. So I don't want you to get like too hung up in what I'm going to talk about tonight, because this is more so for the coaches who have been like showing up very consistently, like they've developed that consistent habit. That's not hard. I'm seeing like a lot of you guys, like I know you show up consistently, you're showing your workouts, you're sharing your life, you're giving value, you're doing CTAs, like you're doing all the things. So now we can just kind of fine tune it in a way that will hopefully really work for our businesses. Reels. Yeah, Reels. Social media annoys me lately. Okay, this is all really good stuff. Reels, are they amazing? Are they not? I have no idea. Michelle, stop watching reels. I actually don't watch any reels. So I don't know that feeling of like getting sucked into reels, because I just haven't even allowed myself to go down that reel dark hole. Real dark hole. I'm making myself
Look at
laugh
the
tonight.
Explore, and then there's a reel on there. And then I
No.
kind of get one after another. And then hey, you pop up, and then other people I know pop up. And I
Yeah.
just get, it's like TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I never did the TikTok thing either. Like I've never even been on TikTok except for my daughter's account. But yeah, definitely don't get caught up in the reels, because that's definitely not a good use of anyone's time. That's for sure. And then you get into the comparison thing, and then you think that you suck, and then you convince yourself that you do suck, and that just never works. The thing with reels, and like I am not an Instagram professional, but for me, what I see, I do a reel, and yes, I get way more views on a reel. Like it will get, a couple thousand plays, but they're not converting. Like I'm not getting new follows from any of those reels. So they see me, they like it, and then they move on, and then they never see me again. So I am not going to spend a ton of time creating reels unless it's one that's going to give some value, because sometimes I'm seeing all these reels and they're just like moms like drinking wine while making dinner, and it's just like all these funny things. And yeah, it's funny, but at the same time, is that going to convert a customer? Is that going to get you new followers? I don't know. I haven't gotten any new followers from the few reels that I've done. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about reels, but if you're not wanting to do them, then just don't do them right now. Like maybe plan in the new year to dabble in them. But for now, just get consistent on showing up and just doing the vitals on Instagram. Are you talking to me, Andrea? How do I get my IG to look so professional? I don't know where you are. Like, do you think my IG looks professional? Oh,
I do. I feel like all your photos all line up the same, and it just, I don't know. I just see your Instagram. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And I feel like mine looks so inconsistent as to kind of the colors of the photos and everything. So I was wondering what app you
so
use.
maybe it's just a filter you need, because that's all I do is I just have a filter. So I bought some presets, which you can buy like on Etsy, like wherever. So a preset is just like a filter basically that you can put on every single
Do you
photo.
use Lightroom?
I use Lightroom. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so I actually put my husband in charge of that tonight. I said you have to figure out Lightroom because that just confuses me. That's just like, okay.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
kind of confusing. I'm surprised I figured it out. But yeah, once you just get a filter that you like, and then you can just slap that sucker on every photo, and it changes the way that your feed looks, and it does make it look cohesive. And I'm just admitting people in here. I definitely recommend a filter. Like there's nothing else I do to my photos. I'm not like photoshopping them. I'm not putting them into Canva. Like I snap them, I throw a filter on, and that's all I do. So it's a pretty simple thing that definitely anyone and everyone should do. Okay. So let's just kind of dive into this. So again, like I said, if you're new and you're just getting like started with coaching, just start the trend of showing up daily. That's what you need to do. You need to get those behaviors instilled. For those of us who have been around for a while, we just automatically share our workouts. We automatically share the coaching opportunity. We automatically share our nutrition. We automatically give value. We just do those things just like consistently. They're ingrained in us. We don't even really have to think twice about it. But as a new coach, you just need to start getting that daily habit going. So look at the tracker, because the tracker will literally tell you exactly what you should be showing in your Facebook and Instagram stories. So just make sure you're checking the box, as we all should be with our tracker. Just get into that habit, and then that way you'll know you're kind of hitting all of the things that you should be hitting each day in Instagram. So I'm going to go through a few different types of stories. Actually, no, first I'm going to just address this, but you don't need to live on Instagram. If I could give you guys any advice, it would be to not get like addicted to, oh, I'm just reading the comments. Is the tracker in the files folder in this group? Maybe I just haven't found it yet. Yeah, Laura, have you done our new coach training yet or anything like that? You can just, I can see you. You can even just nod or, so the tracker, it's in the file section. I think Melissa's your coach, right? Yeah, she can send you the tracker, but yeah, definitely start using the tracker. And we have a new coach training starting on Monday, I believe, and we'll go over the tracker a little bit more in there as well. You do not need to live on Instagram, you guys. And I have to remind myself of this like every day, because it can be such an addiction and it can suck the life out of you. And we get into this culture of feeling like we need to share every single moment, and we need to be constantly on, constantly checking in. And if you're anything like me, you actually have guilt and kind of anxiety if you take a long period of time, like even a few hours off in the day from not being on Instagram. I do not want our team to be like that, because it is toxic. You will get burnt out. Nobody should be spending that much time on social media. I sometimes wish Instagram never became a thing and stories never became a thing, because back when it was just Facebook and you posted a couple times a day, you got in, you got out, and you moved on with your life. And now all of a sudden we feel the need to document our life on Instagram, but we don't need to document our life on Instagram. In fact, that's not really effective. You need to be purposeful on your stories. They don't need to see everything. For instance, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been some like really incredible sunsets lately. Like, I don't know if it's the time change and I'm just noticing them, or like, because it's just been really nice weather. It's like such a nice sunset every single night. And I kid you not, every night, I think as soon as I see how beautiful it is, I'm like, oh, I should take a picture for Instagram. And I literally have to be like, Megan, like, what the fuck? Like, everyone sees the sunset. Why is your go-to thought, I should put this on my stories? So I'm trying to get myself out of that habit. Just like, when I used to wake up in the morning, it would be like the first thing I would do is like, okay, what do I need to Instagram? I want to take a picture of my book or my journal or my workout clothes. Like, it was just this habit, a really bad habit that started. And I felt like I had to document every single moment. If my kids were doing something cute or funny, my gut reaction was, oh, I should Instagram this, instead of just being in the moment and enjoying them. So I don't want you guys to feel like you have to document your life on Instagram. I am giving yourself and myself permission to stop doing this. If you feel like you're doing that, don't do it anymore. If you enjoy it, then by all means keep doing it. But for me, it feels very exhausting. I don't feel present. I feel depleted, and I don't really feel like I'm getting any further ahead in my day or in my business. So I decided to become a lot more intentional. And if it wasn't going to move my business forward or help me connect or give value, I didn't feel a need to share it. And I don't feel the need to share the same things like kind of over and over and over again. So for instance, I've even backed off a little bit, and I could be telling you guys all the wrong information. Like, another coach might tell you the complete opposite, but here's just my thoughts on this. Sometimes in the morning, I'll get tagged by a lot of people in the morning workouts, which is great. Like, I think that's awesome. I don't share them all, because does my viewer need to see 6 times the same, that's like similar photo of the workout, virtual Zoom room with all of us working out? Like, does somebody need to see that like 5 times in a row when I used to share all of the tags that I was in? Probably not. It's not necessary. So I've just been like, okay, how can I back off? How can I show like literally half the amount of stories that I used to share, but in fact, give more value and have more of an impact? So here are 3 types of stories that I aim to have in my stories each day. I also really am a big advocate of taking a day or 2 off of social media completely. You don't even have to announce it. Like just don't go on. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody's actually going to care. You're going to come back refreshed. And in fact, whenever I come back, I always have way more views on my Insta stories after I've taken a day off. I don't know why. I don't know if the algorithm is doing something, but I will always have higher story viewers after being off for a full 24 hours. But when I say unplug from social, I don't mean just stop posting, but then spend your day scrolling and watching reels and watching other people's stories. I mean, unplug, like delete Instagram and Facebook off your phone for 24 hours and go enjoy your life. Stop scrolling, stop wasting time watching other people's things. So the first sort of types of story that I try to put in about once a day is, it's called a B-type footage. So this can be either using the reels. You don't have to post it as a reel, but on Instagram, if you scroll over to the reels, you can actually record videos in there. And that's how I do my workout clips. So if you ever see my workout clips, how they're just short little like bursts of like 3 seconds of each move, but it's just a 15-second clip. But in that 15-second clip, you'll see me do like several moves. I'm just using the Reels feature. I'm not uploading it as a reel. I'm just saving the video and using it in my Insta stories. So I can speed it up. I can slow it way down. I can chop it up. So you just play around with it a little bit. But that's how I love to do my workout videos, is in Reels, because then it's just 15 seconds that they see of my workout, but they actually are seeing lots of different moves. And I think that it keeps them more engaged, just because it's like kind of a little bit choppier. So you can use the Reels feature, or even like go into your camera and, do I keep freezing, you guys? Or is it okay? Is it okay? Can someone just unmute?
Yeah, you're fine.
Is it okay if I keep going? Oh, some people are saying.
Yeah, on mine you keep freezing, but that could just be mine.
Yeah, it says my internet connection is unstable.
You're freezing, but I can still hear everything.
Okay. Just give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. So something else that you can do is either using the Reels feature. Like, do you guys use that feature at all to record stuff? Just because it has a lot of great features built into it, like the speeding up, the slowing down, and you can chop things up a bit. Otherwise, you can just use like the camera on your phone and you can put it into like fast, like when you video, you can like make things go super fast. So a really cool way of showcasing something is some behind the scenes type work. So you could record yourself doing a power hour. So, I did this last night, for instance. If you guys watched my stories, I had like a little video of me doing the sneak peek. So it was just sped up, but you just saw me talking, you saw me doing this. And it's a great way for me to show, like, here I am doing this sneak peek into coaching, if you're interested in learning more about what I do. But it's just a way to show that instead of the same old, like, take a picture of the Zoom or take a selfie and be like, I'm just about to hop on a, webinar. So for instance, you could do that tonight, even just have yourself recording, doing whatever. But I like to do this while like making a recipe. You can speed things up, or sometimes in the morning. I'll do this when I'm like making the kids lunches and stuff. I just speed it up if I want to showcase some behind the scenes footage of what it is that I do. Organizing your pantry, getting ready for a workout, prepping food. When you come home from the grocery store and you're like doing some food prep, putting things away. It's just a great way to show some behind the scenes and even give some value, because you can add in some text afterwards. So basically this just shows you walking the walk and talking the talk, right? This is a great way to show what it is that we actually do as coaches. So another way, just to showcase some things on Insta stories, is talking head. So basically that's like when we're holding up the phone to us and we're talking. So it's just like our face on the screen, nothing fancy, and we're just talking. If you're going to do this, just take a few minutes beforehand and just be prepared about what you're going to say. There's no need to talk about the day of the week and the weather and how crazy your kids are. Like, get to the point. People want to just know what it is that you're coming on to say. And if you're not coming on to say anything epic, maybe just don't come on. Like, don't post just to post. Don't show up on Insta stories just to show up on Insta stories. So if you have something really amazing to say, whether it's like after your workout, or if it's a parenting tip, or if it's an aha moment or something you learned in personal development, or a food tip, just take a few minutes first and be like, okay, what is it that I'm going to say? How am I going to make sure that gives them value? And do I have a call to action that I want to add on to the end? That way you can keep it like really, really just trim the fat out of it. Just get it to be punchy, to the point. You don't want to waste people's time, because what will happen if you're typically someone who like rambles on their Insta stories, they'll watch your Insta stories and then you'll start talking and they'll be like, I'm just going to keep tapping because like I know she just rambles. So you want them to always be like, ooh, when she talks, she gives some good shit. So I'm going to listen up. So connect on something very specific. So like I said, tips, problems, solutions, tutorials. Don't just come on to ramble. And then static images. So these are things that you can plan out ahead of time. These are things, photos that you can plan out in advance. So for instance, if you guys follow me, my lunch that I posted today, that actually wasn't my lunch today. I had a shake for lunch. That was my lunch yesterday, but I had already posted my breakfast yesterday, but my lunch looked really good. So I was like, I'll just take a picture and I'll use this tomorrow. And then same thing today. Like I took a couple pictures today that I'll use tomorrow in my Insta stories. So it doesn't always have to be in the moment. So when there's an opportunity to take a photo, just take it and save it for the next day. Like yesterday, I had given already tons of great value. So I'm like, I don't need to put anything more on my Insta stories. I'm just going to save that for tomorrow, because maybe I won't have as much inspiration tomorrow as I do today. So save things. These types, when I'm talking about a static image, this can be those like CTAs. So where you might have like a series of like 5 or 6 slides that are telling a story. So maybe it's just like different photos of you or photos of food or photos of like a forest, like whatever. But there's a point to each image that you're showing, whether it's like, you know, 5 years ago, I never expected to be creating a business the way that I am. Next slide. At that time, I was a registered nurse, burnt out, exhausted, blah, blah, blah. Next slide. I invested in myself. I started helping other women. Next slide. 5 years later, I've created this amazing business, blah, blah, blah. Next slide. My sneak peek into coaching is happening tomorrow, or, you know, I'm enrolling for my team, 5 women this month, send me a DM, tap the poll. So that's what I mean by these static images, is just sort of like this CTA type sequence. So hopefully you guys know what I mean by all of this. Or it could be steps for a recipe, or it could be like tips of some sort. It could be just very basic. Like sometimes I'll just do like a black screen and white text and just be kind of like giving some like concrete value back to back in like 3, 4, 5 slides. So I think about what I put on my stories. I take a little bit of time because I think that a few years ago, or even a couple years ago, or even a year ago, you could just show up willy-nilly doing nothing and it would be effective. I think that now we have to stand out a little bit more. There's so many of us. There's so many people doing Insta stories, like everyone and their mother's doing Insta stories now. So we need to stand out a little bit more, which means that maybe you need to do less, but just be more impactful on the ones you do. So I really try to do these 3 things each day. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't, but this B-roll type footage, I could just do all day. Like this is my favorite. I can always like find something to do where I'm just like speeding it up behind the scenes. The talking head, I have to get myself ready for it. I have to really think like, okay, what is it today? What's my message today? What can I give value on today? And I really just do this once a day. So you're not going to see me do this in the morning and then in the afternoon and then again at night. Like I do that once. I do this one, the B type footage. I do that once. And then I do these static images once. So it's not always a CTA, but it's something. So that's just kind of my Insta stories. And it's made things a lot easier for me. It's taken like a load off of the whole idea of like, I've got to be on all the time. They don't necessarily need to see story after story of my kids running around. They don't need to see the weather. Like they don't need to see me out for a walk with my running shoes, just moving along the sidewalk. Like I feel like sometimes less is actually way more, as long as we are being super effective. Do you guys have any questions about this? Check the chat box here. Kim, if you mean this document that, my little Google Doc right here, no, because this was literally just me making notes before the call, but I can definitely send it to you if you would like this. Okay. And oh yeah, or like steps for a morning routine. That could be like those static type images of like how to create a morning routine, how to create an evening routine. So many great ideas if you just take a moment and just think about, okay, today, what kind of an impact do I want to make? And for me, it always goes back to, what am I trying to achieve this week? Am I focused on coaching? Because if I'm focused on coaching, I want to make sure that everything kind of relates back to coaching. If I'm focused on filling my challenge group, I want it to be all about like my challenge group and fitness and workouts. So it really depends on what I am, what I'm working towards that week and what goals I'm trying to hit. That is really going to determine, okay, what are these Instagram things going to be like each day in my stories? So let's just talk a little bit about Instagram posts. So a viral post, it's not that it's going to be viral and it's going to go viral, but what I mean by this is try to find like a really popular type post on Instagram. So maybe it's from like, you know, those like mom boss pages, or I don't know what any of those like big social media pages that have like lots of different quotes on them and stuff. If you see a quote that like really speaks to you, what you can do is you can screenshot it and then you can crop it so that that picture is actually on your camera roll, but you want to make sure you give credit to whose it was, right? So you can actually use that photo in your Instagram feed and just either share a story or share something like a funny little quote or whatever that goes with the image. Tag the person where you got it and even say like, thanks for the inspo, or whatever you want to say, but make sure you do give them credit. And what this will do is it will just increase your engagement, because when we post just kind of funny, viral type things, people are just going to automatically like it. Like they're not going to like your coaching CTA. Like they're just not. You're going to get like 4 likes on it, but stuff like this, you'll get tons of likes because people will just very easily like it. They'll share it. So you want to find things that other people will share. That's just going to get your reach so much further. And that's a great way to start bringing in new people as well. And it brings new eyes to your feed. So, when I first started doing this, I had to stop worrying about what my feed looked like, because I was trying to create this like perfect looking feed with like the quotes all down one side and everything lined up. Like I had that going for a while and I loved the way it looked. But then I would like, something would happen and I would post out of order and then everything would be screwed up. And I was like, God darn it, my Instagram feed doesn't look that great. I've gotten over that. And I'll post quotes whenever I want to. I'm not so worried about what it actually looks like. So find some posts like this and do like one of those every week in your feed and just like kind of have fun with it. You can find all kinds of different ones. A value post. So this is going to create a tighter bond with your followers. So figure out, what is it that people need? What do people follow you for? What's the value that you can give? Because it's not Beachbody. That's not the value you give. What makes you unique? How do you solve people's problems? What problems do you solve for people? Even if you've been a coach for a week, you know how to solve someone's problems. So this is where you want to do the value type post, because it will connect you with your viewers on a deeper level. It gives something they really need. And the way that you can do this is sort of like, what is the problem? Create like a little catchy title for it and then outline it. So example, do you struggle working out because of kids? And that's like the theme, struggling with working out because of kids. And then your title is 5 reasons why you can work out at home with your kids at home. Or if the problem is, you don't have time to work out, somebody says that to you, like, oh, I never have time to work out, or I can't stick to a workout routine. 5 reasons why you can stick to a workout routine. And if you don't know 5 reasons to stick to a workout routine, go to Pinterest or Google and type in 5 reasons to create a workout routine. And someone has done that for you. And all you need to do is tweak that and put it into your own words. Okay. We are not experts here. We are just really good researchers, and we are really good at making things, putting things into our own words. So you can use this kind of value post for so many different things, like 5 ways to make your veggies taste good, 5 ways to get your kids to eat veggies, why creating an evening routine will change your life, why working out first thing in the morning is beneficial. Like, just start getting creative, start thinking of some things, and have fun with it. So no strings attached with this. Don't do a CTA, just give value. This is something that people might share or tag their friends in if it really speaks to them. And then a vulnerable post. So this usually is a bit harder for people because, we don't like to be vulnerable, especially on social media. But until you start being vulnerable, you probably aren't going to see a lot of success in this business, because connection does not happen without vulnerability. This is something that I learned a few years ago, maybe just a couple years ago. Connection does not happen without vulnerability. If you do not get vulnerable, you will forever have surface level conversations, surface level relationships, surface level friendships, if you refuse to become vulnerable. And I know this because now I have some like really deep connections with people. And I was like, wow, all the friendships that I've had in the past have been so surface level because there was never any vulnerability. So get vulnerable if you want people to connect with you. So share a story, share what brought you to this point in your life. What made you decide to start working out? What made you change the path that you were on and start venturing into this business? What made you reach out to your coach? What made you and it doesn't even have to be about the business, just like what made you do anything? What was a pivotal moment in your life where maybe you hit rock bottom, maybe something amazing happened, maybe you met your partner, maybe you thought you were never going to get pregnant, but you did, maybe you still are waiting to get pregnant. Like, start sharing some vulnerable things that you feel comfortable with, of course, but that is how you are going to create a deep connection with your followers. And when they feel connected with you, they are going to like you, they are going to trust you, and they are naturally going to want to do whatever it is that you are doing. So the goal is to get more comments on these posts, more DMs, have people message you saying like, I feel like you were speaking directly to me, or I can relate so much to what you were just saying. These are like the magic maker posts. So here's a little bit of a formula. It's called the HICA formula. So the H stands for hook. So ask a bold question or an unpopular topic. So just make it bold. You want these types of posts to like stand out. And then introduction, what you are talking about. So the hook could be something, well, this is one that I've done several times. It always gets a lot of attention. I'll say, I didn't think I liked my children. That's always like and people always stop and read that post whenever I do talk about conscious parenting. So that is like something bold that's going to get them to stop. Or gosh, what's another one? I mean, if you can even just look at some of my posts, you'll see that, I sometimes just have these like bolder things that gets people's attention, because if you don't get their attention in like the first line of your post, they're probably not going to read it. So grab their attention quick, and then the introduction, so what you are going to talk about, and then the content, give the juicy details. You can use bullet points, you can use tips. Like, I love to just kind of give like point form. You'll get comfortable with what works for you when you start creating content, but mine, I feel like all my posts kind of flow the same way because that's how I talk. So I love doing like little bullet points within my posts just to get my point across. And then a call to action, drop an emoji, tag a friend, swipe up. I don't have the swipe up feature, but one day. It doesn't always have to be a call to action about join me, but maybe it's a call to action of like, tag a friend who needs to hear this message, or, if this is something you can relate to, like give me an amen or whatever it is you want to put there, but put a call to action because you want people to comment and engage on these types of posts. If you aren't getting enough engagement in any of your posts, just ask yourself, am I giving enough? So you want to make sure you're giving value. It shouldn't be the Megan show on Instagram or the Michelle show on Instagram, right? It's gotta be for other people. Because what I felt like was happening when I was like Insta storing my entire life is I was doing it from a place of like, I want my life to look good. Like I want people to be like, oh man, look at her. She's like got it all going on. Meanwhile, I wasn't showing like the really messy points, but I was just showing like all like the good things. And not that I necessarily am saying like Instagram all the bad things, but when you're doing it from a place of like, oh, this is cute. Oh, I look good. Or, oh, my house looks clean here. Or like my kids are cute. You want to be doing it from a point of what is this doing for my viewers? And like I said, when I was like wanting to take a picture of the sunset every single night for the last week, it was like, and why? Like why? It's not. It's like me just trying to share some of the joy that I'm experiencing in. And it's like they don't need that. They can find their own joy. I don't need to be sharing all the joyful moments in my day. I need to be giving more value in my day. Yes, I want to do the vulnerability and get, have people get to know, like, and trust me, but I want to make sure that I'm giving enough so that they keep coming back for more and not just to watch like the Megan reality show. So, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but like, what does my ideal person need to hear right now? They need to hear what you needed to hear. That's my guess. So plan your posts. In order to be intentional like this, you have to plan things out. If you're going to do like a value type post where you're going to outline, 5 tips to creating a morning routine, well, I can't just pull that shit together 5 minutes before I need to get a post up. So that's something that you can plan it on the weekends or early morning, or just like take an afternoon and just unplug from social, but maybe create some content for an hour. Like this doesn't have to take long, but just get a plan in place for the week and know what you're trying to promote, know what you're trying to sell, know what you're trying to invite to, and then create this type of content all around that. Yeah, so definitely plan your posts. Plan at least, not necessarily even the content, but just like the theme and what kind of a post is it going to be? Is it going to be a value post? Is it going to be a vulnerable post? Is it going to be a viral type post? And then I kind of mentioned this before, but empower your followers to feel the, oh my goodness, me too. You want them to be constantly like, oh my gosh, me too. I feel the same way, or I used to feel the same way, or I feel like you're speaking to me. You want that to start happening with your followers. So value first and CTAs come later. Brain dump out your ideas. I have a private group on Facebook that I am the only member of. And I've had this since I first became a coach. I have like so many posts in there, post ideas. Some are just like one-liners. Some are like old posts that I did years ago that were just good, and I'll dump in there because I can recreate them, because like you can repurpose your content all the time. Nobody is going to remember that you posted that already. Tweak it, change it up, add a different photo. So repurpose your content as much as you can, but have a place where you can just like brain dump your ideas. So if I see something on social, I'm like, ooh, that would make a good post. And I'll just like quickly, put the idea in my little private group, where you can use the notepad on your phone, whatever works for you guys. Stop following other coaches and trying to sound like them. You are not them. And the more that we watch other coaches, the more we start to feel like we are not enough. The more we start to think that what we have to say isn't good enough. And the more that we start to feel like that's who we need to be. That's who we need to post like. That's we need to use their words, their lingo, their format. Stop all of that. If you feel yourself getting into that, you need to stop following coaches, even if they're on this team, because their post won't work for you. I can guarantee it. Their post will not work for you because that person wrote it the way that they speak. You don't speak like them because you're not them. Maybe use their idea and change it up and use it down the road, but you really have to just find your own voice, because your voice is more than good enough, and that is what people want to hear. And you will like develop your own flair and, you know, change it up as you go about this journey, because I definitely don't post the same way that I was posting a couple of years ago, that's for sure. Okay, that's like pretty much all I had, you guys. But does anybody have questions, feedback, any tips to share? Any comments?
I actually I had a little bit of a brainstorming idea about, you know, how you were saying for the viral posts. I was thinking about getting those letter boards, like you can get them off Amazon. And then, because I don't put quotes on my page, it's just something I just like having images on it. But I love reading quotes. So I thought if I get a letter board, do like a fun little quote and I'm holding it, that's like a really simple way. And I can plan those out for the month because I can just switch up my outfit, set up a few fun like quotes and things like that. And there's like a post. So I thought that would be kind of like a fun idea if you like the idea of the quotes, but you want it to still kind of be about, you know, the image of you kind of thing. So
yeah, it's such a great idea. Amy Provenzano, she did that for a while actually. And she always got so much great engagement on them because they're super popular. I think they're a pain in the ass to change all the letters all the time, but that's such a great idea. Even like if you're tech savvy, you can use Canva, and you can even just like, you know, like do a picture of you just pointing and have like a quote coming out of your head with like something like, you know, those like bubbles, like whatever. Anyways, it's late. And have like, you know, a little quote like that. So you can definitely get creative with this stuff, but people do love quotes. They love sharing them. They love saving them. And the more shares and saves that you can get with a post, the more that's going to like boost you in the algorithm. More people are going to see you, more people are going to find you. So it's definitely a great idea. Yeah. Anyone else? Was that helpful? Does it kind of like hopefully alleviate a little bit of like, okay, maybe I don't need to share every single moment. And guess what, guys? Like, I know we all work out every day, but you also don't have to share your workout every single day. Like, I'm going to give you permission. There's going to be other coaches that will not give you that permission and probably will tell you the complete opposite. But I'm going to tell you, like, share your workout every other day. And then maybe on the days that you don't video your workout, you could do, like I do this a lot. I'll just have like a black, like you could just take a picture of whatever you want and just say like, you know, personal development, check. Early morning workout, check. Now off to get my kids ready for school, or off to work I go. Like, super simple, but it shows people that you're still doing your little behaviors and you're still showing up, but you don't have to like fart around videoing and uploading Insta stories all the time. So like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you share your workouts. Tuesday, Thursday, you maybe do, yes, you can, Michelle. You do something like just a little more like ask questions to your audience, try to get them to engage, like change it up. I got so stuck in I wake up, I'm going to share my journal. I'm going to share my personal development. I'm going to share my workout, and I'm going to share my breakfast. And then my kids go off to school. And someone said to me, a very dear friend, she gave me feedback. It was Heather Chauvin, for any of you who know her. She can be very bold. And she said, Megan, I know exactly what you do every single day because you have shared it for like 4 years. Every day, the same thing. She's like, it is very obvious what you're going to do day in and day out on your Insta stories. And I was like, ooh, damn, like you're right. But you get so ingrained in this, like we have to share this same type of stuff. And she's like, you got to switch it up. You got to do a little bit less to be more impactful. So that was like the best advice that I got. And I'm still trying to like work on that because, when I don't share my workout and such, I'm like, oh my gosh, but they're going to think I didn't work out. You know what? They're not thinking about us that much. They're not noticing. They don't care. They don't. They want to know what we can do for them. They actually do not care. Michelle, did you want to say something?
Yes, and let me distract this one with Amazon Prime, and I'll give that to her.
Okay.
What I was gonna say is that a few weeks ago, I actually just put like polls on my Insta story, like just nothing fancy, no picture or anything. And I just said like for the yes and no, I would say like, do you follow me because crazy mom life or fitness? Then I'll go next. Do you want to see more healthy recipes? My workout routine. Nobody wants to see the workouts. They want to see my crazy mom life. And they'd love some healthy recipes. They would love some tips, but they can care less about my workouts. So I found that like kind of switching it up to what my audience wants to see instead of what I feel like I need to show. And yeah, I do get really stuck into showing, hey, I did my workout today. Hey, I drank my shake. Hey, I drank my Energize. Hey, you can get all of this through me if you want. Yes, very nice. So yeah, you're right. We do get stuck and we do need to change it up. So it's really good to get feedback though. So that's great.
It is. And actually, because Stacy's saying right there that like Stacy's into fitness, like she's got the fitness background and the nutrition background. So her followers are going to be like her, right? They're into fitness. My followers are not really into fitness. And whenever I do those little like polls, they never want to see fitness from me either. But that is something that you can do like once a week is just instead of sharing your usual stuff, just do some little research and ask your people, like, what do you want to see? This or that? Give them a bunch of options. And it's so interesting to see what it is that they're actually following you for. So it's a great idea.
Another thing too, Megan, is that a long time ago you said like your Instagram is kind of like your store. It's your business, right? So it's like your storefront. So why not ask your customers, what do you want me to stock in my store? What will you come to my store and look at if it's stocked? So it doesn't hurt.
Exactly. And yeah, so some days what I'll do, and I'll try to plan this out a little bit too. Like one day I'll share my workout, but then maybe the next day I will do the whole little like check thing that I was talking about, like workout done, personal development done. And then maybe another day I will, after my workout, I'll do some like face-to-face type stories, just kind of maybe an aha moment that I had during my workout, or I'll reference my workout, but I'll give some value, me talking. And then maybe the next day I'll unplug from social. Like, so I just kind of decide ahead of time, like, okay, I don't need to share my workout every single day this week. I can let them know in other ways that yes, I am doing my workout, but guess what? Like there's so much more to this business. Like, why don't we showcase nutrition more? Why don't we showcase like the lifestyle that coaching is giving us, the community, all that stuff too. So I hope that helps. Like it just feels good to like be like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe I don't have to be on as much as I think I need to be. That's the feeling that I got. And I just never want to build my team with people who feel like they need to live on social because you're going to get burnt out, and then you'll be resentful and your family will hate what you're doing because you're Instagramming their entire life too. So I hope that helped you guys. I'll just check the chat box. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I will post the recording tomorrow and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.